Hi, my name is Arya Pitan, and I'm a writer, storyteller, and development communicator. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. Today, we are going to be talking to two very remarkable people doing stuff in the environmental space. They both have eco businesses, and I'll be leaving them to introduce themselves. Ugo.
Hi, my name is Ugona Erenini, and I'm the founder of Olako Finds. So Olako Finds I like to describe it as an honest Nigerian brand that collaborates with local artisans and craftspeople to create eco-friendly, sustainable, unique designs using pottery and hand-woven local fabrics to cater to people who appreciate such products and who want unique designs in their home, really, for their home and keeps. That's pretty much it. I'm excited to be here and to discuss with the rest of you.
Hi, my name is Uche, the creative director and founder of AZAC. AZAC is a sustainable fashion brand. We upcycle fabrics and repurpose fabrics also. We turn fabric waste into exciting products, exciting fashion. We started officially about 2 years ago and we operate here in Lagos. So basically, we are just trying to rescue some of these clothes that are that goes into waste. Aside from rescuing them, we try as much as possible to, bring back, save the scarce resources that we have by all our processes. So I'm excited. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And I think it's very interesting that you both have businesses that are approximately 2 years old. Yes. So in a profile written about you, you said that you were upcycling before you knew what it was. So tell us more about that, and how did you decide that this is something you wanted to do?
Okay. My story is a very long story. Like when I was still younger. Yeah. When I grew up with my cousins, so some of them I'm older than them. So when I outgrew my clothes, I just give it to them, and I see the way they do those clothes, the way they handle them. I'm always vexed and. So, because these are clothes that I love so much, so seeing how other people treat clothes that I love so much, I mean, it might be maybe childish as at then, but then it is what it is. So those clothes that I love so much, there are some pieces that those clothes in your wardrobe that you love so much that you wear for almost all events that goes with almost everything. Yeah, so I wouldn't want to give that out, but I've outgrown them. You can't wear clothes that are bigger than. So instead of that, I would take it to tailor to add other materials to reshape it, make it my size. And when I got admission, went to school, people were seeing some of this clothes and they're interested because it's quite unique, different from what every other person is wearing. And when I tell them that I'm the one that designed them, they're always like, wow, surprised. And even from their reaction, I'm like, are you guys surprised?
Big deal.
So I think someone made mention of cycling to me. The word sounded, when the person said upcycling, I was like, well, it was sounding like recycle. I was like, okay, I might have. But you say, you've not heard of it. Go and research, go and check what upcycling means. And I'm very, very grateful for that encounter, because that was what shifted my viewpoint and towards upcycling. So when I checked upcycling, I saw it was a whole big deal. Like it's a big deal, and I saw the impact of upcycling, and I mean it felt natural to do this full time. And I mean that's how Isaac started.
Yeah, so Ugo, because I personally know you and I know that you've done a number of things over the years. You've done many things. So what makes Ulaku Finds special? Why is it this one thing that you've chosen to settle with? How is it different from all your other pursuits?
So I think that, I'll just give a rough background of a couple of things that I've been involved with. So I had a blog. Because I love to write. So I started a blog right out of secondary school. So I'd always loved writing. I started a fashion business in uni. Even whilst in uni, I just was doing a lot of things. I learned tailoring. I did a bit of baking. I sold a couple of things. I was just all over the place. I'd always loved entrepreneurship. I love the concept of always having money. Always, I was always interested in skincare as well. So I did like a couple of things just for like friends and family. I just always was always doing something. So after uni as well, I started like a media publication focused on femme-focused content. So the idea was just to promote women creatives across the world, Black women who are doing remarkable things in music, in just the creative industry in general. It was doing good. I had like a little cute team, but I had to stop that. But I've just done like a couple of things over the years. But the reason why, but most of the time, I did not know, maybe due to sometimes I had to I moved out of the state where I grew up in, or due to financial constraints, because I was bootstrapping most of these projects and I did not really have a better understanding of the business side, like how to actually continuously keep making money out of it. It was more like impact projects, because I really like things that have like a lot of impact. I loved the feedback I was getting from like my community with my blog, with my fashion business uni. It was good, but after I moved and just so many other factors, I did not know how to sustain it and to scale it. So I had to put a hold on that. But the reason why I said Laco Finds was because I knew that it's like you're giving yourself it's probably like the 10th chance, and you're like, you know what, you have to see this through to the end. So regardless of what happens, I must perfect it. So I got interested in design. I was like, I'm going to do this. And as I started getting more, not just validation from external people and family and friends and customers. I just kept on feeling more confident about the potential. I could literally, I would sleep at night and I would see what it could be in the next 5 years. I'm like, in Nigeria, I die here. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. So that just made me more. Yeah. I'm getting more confidence. I see the potential. I see the future. I have a plan, and I don't know what makes it. I think it's just a decision that I made to see this through to the end. I don't know what will be like in the next 5-10 years, even though I see it being like a big, design company, decor company. I wanted to work outside of my physical presence. I wanted to work and exist beyond me. And I see that's something that can go from generations to generations. Regardless, I'm open to whatever outcome. I know that I want it to grow. However it ends, whatever the future brings, I'm open to it. But I want to see it through to the very end, to the best of my ability. So I would say personal decision to just see through to the end.
That's actually that's very interesting. And what I like about both of you's what you guys are doing is the fact that your work involves a lot of grassroots people. So what we have in the world is that what is happening today is that we have people that are trying to solve the climate crisis without involving the lowest rung of persons. They just try to do it at the top. So people are making decisions for the masses, basically. So the masses have become like recipients of other people's decisions. So I like that both of you are doing something that involves these people. So I want to know, was it deliberate for you, Guna? Did you decide that, okay, you know what, let's take this back to the roots and say, let's work with, I know you work with artisans and people that maybe they don't speak a lot of English, they don't really, they may not know how to spell or read and write. And for you, Uche, you go to the market, these thrift vendors, they are like, people that buy thrift are like, they would see you as, oh, you're the poorest of the poor, you're buying thrift and all that. So was this a conscious decision? What informed this idea to work with, collaborate with these persons that often are overlooked and marginalized?
So I think it goes back to, for me, everything I've always embarked on goes back to impact. I mean, in as much as, yes, a business, you're trying to make money and profit, I wanted to actually touch the lives of people. So when I started this, I saw this as an opportunity to, so I like to say that, we're prioritizing the SDGs 5, 12, 11, 12, and 13 as well. So 5 is like, women, like I want, so in terms of like the assistants I work with, I would ideally love to prioritize women because women obviously earn less, and a lot of women are always involved in like menial jobs, menial opportunities. They are also the ones who are most likely to be interested in learning such skills and like developing and all of that. So it's just an amazing way to, encourage them. So I think that I decided to, so before I started the business, let me just do like a quick background story. I didn't just want to go into this as, a founder, a creative director, like top of the, I wanted to really understand what a it really entails. Like, what does it entail? So I did a trip I went to Buhari Pottery just to see in Abuja, just to understand how it works. How does this thing work? What are the experiences they have? How long have they been in the business? Some of the issues that they face. So I spoke to a couple of potters there, and I just gave me like a larger understanding of the industry that I was going into. And then I went to Abia State as well. So for the hand-woven fabrics that we make, we use Akwete fabric. So Akwete is like originates from a town called Akwete in Abia State. So it's like a locally handmade fabric that is woven on looms. So I decided to go, actually went to the village. It was a very rough journey in Akwete, just to have an understanding of, when you're in an environment when something is being done, you get a different experience. You get like a 360 view. And
you're in the roots.
Exactly. And these people have been doing this for like hundreds of years. Like, it's something that's passed from generation to generation, and it's dying because lots of young people, no one really wants to learn how to like weave. It's like, what's that?
Yeah.
So I really wanted to go there. I spoke to the women. It was really great to hear like stories, how long they've been doing this, how they're able to like put designs together, how they already have like templates of particular designs. So I think that once I put myself in that environment, it motivated me the most. So I think, again, my priority is always impact. I want to be able to help skilled artisans, because in Nigeria at the moment, what we need is to keep producing. We need to produce more than we consume. We need that in this time. So it's a way to, use our local resources. Most of the things that we use are not imported. Everything that we use is locally made, even the machines for pottery. So it's just a way to just use our local resources, harnesses, and our talent as well, using, decade-old, skills that we already have, improve upon it using innovative methods, use amazing people. You're growing local, craft as well. So it's just that perfect blend. So I would say, yes, everything for me is grassroots, intentional. We're taking it back. So that's pretty much the idea.
Your work reminds me of this term that we use in OMF. It's called the recovery of memory. So we believe that a lot of our traditions, our values, our ways of doing things, even our recipes they're deleted. They're being erased.
Yeah.
So we're trying to go back to the source and back to how did we used to live? How did we used to make things? How did we used to create things? Because there's this idea that Africans don't make things. But no, we make things. We've just forgotten how to make things, and we need to just go back.
Innovation, we in Africa, we tend to like be stuck in our old ways. The way we know how to do things, like most of all this method, like there's this popular this grinding, this machine they use for grinding pepper. These people with this local one, like since I've been a kid, I'm always like this machine that makes so much noise. Are you guys telling me that there's no better way to do this thing and not so we are always stuck in our old ways, so we don't tend to develop, we don't tend to iterate and try to improve on things. It's maybe some of our resources now, if you see in Nigeria, most of the resources we export are like raw materials. We export mostly when there's no production mostly, so people out there are now developing. So I feel why most of us are neglecting our traditional, the indigenous way of doing things, probably because we are seeing a better method, the cheaper method. Meanwhile, if we can invest, we can see how we can develop these skills that we have, make it better, use the new tools that are involved to make this, the way we are doing things, make it more efficient. Especially efficiency is really important in our tradition. Most of our indigenous way of doing things are not efficient because of this. So that's why people tend to go for the more efficient option. Method. So if we develop all of these local ways of doing things, I think it will help us. We will appreciate it more if it's not.
So can I add to that? Just exactly what she said. But I think that what we're missing in this part of the world is documenting. Africans are no longer documenting. We used to. So that's the difference. We have all these skills and traditions, but no one is really documenting it. No one is preserving it. No one is actually. So, for instance, that's why I literally, because you're searching the internet trying to find out information, it's not enough. I had to go to that environment to properly understand, because there are no books, there are no videos, there are no documentaries. There's really nothing that is available to. So I think that aside from improving upon old methods, making it more efficient, accessible, and all of that, we must document these processes so that the future generations have something to look back to. That's
very important.
I think also that when you talk about improvement, we don't have to improve something for the sake of improvement. There are some old things that are good just the way they are. Like
Fair
there was,
enough.
yes, there are some
Yeah,
things, but we just
okay.
feel like it's our forefathers' way. It's no longer relevant. We don't really take time to interrogate why were they doing it this way. What's inspired them to do it this way? Why was this what they settled on? They probably had their reasons. So if we can see the thinking behind the method, we may be able to improve on it without necessarily like
Changing.
changing it so much or altering it in a way that no longer like serves. Like our parents lived in harmony with the environment. Our forefathers they did their things, they produced, they created stuff, but it didn't harm the earth. So now we're having creators creating and destroying the planet at the same time. Should creativity
Yeah.
yeah, so back to the question about your work with the thrift vendors.
Okay,
people
I
who sell
think
thrift.
mine stems from the goal of why I'm doing why I'm doing this. What's the best way to achieve this, and what's the best way to do it without hurting the environment and still creating impact.
Yes.
So like the whatever process we try to imbibe or introduce into our system, we tend to look at the pros and cons. Like since so we now it's easy for us because we have a direction. The direction is eco-friendly. Whatever you're doing mustn't enter the environment. So whatever method we are trying to bring, we try to like, okay, check, does this work? Does this not work? So, and we've seen that the best way to go about what we are doing is to start from the grassroots, because
Yeah.
if you watch the environmental impact, like it starts from, from the ground there, like people up there just dump their stuff, and people
Yes.
down there. So these are the people that what we want to do, the impact we want to create. These are the people that would
Yes.
help us create that impact, because you cannot impact I don't know, someone that like their life is already good. I mean, how do you want to create that impact? So it's the people that really need what you want to do, the
Yes.
impact you're creating, so that you have to go and meet them and the grassroots. And I mean, that is why that's one of the purpose of like creating businesses, aside from making money. It has to like the impact you create. That's what even gives it the longevity.
Yeah.
Because when it's not every time you make money. So what keeps you going when you're not making money is that goal why you started.
Yes.
And it's people like this that help you. When you see the impact you're creating, you wouldn't want to stop.
Yeah, true.
You wouldn't want to stop. Like there are times we make losses and I'll be like, I should have been doing all that thing. I mean, I quit my job to like come into this business. So when we are facing challenges, the impact I'm creating is like what keeps me going. When I see the people working with me, when I see the comments I'm getting from like from customers. If you like when you work with clothes, there's so much emotions attached to clothing.
Interesting.
There's so much emotions attached to clothing. See someone with there's a person we worked with, she's been keeping this fabric for like she says she's keeping it for about 8 years. She says she doesn't even know what to do with it, but she doesn't want to
can't
throw it away.
because
You get she just want to keep it until it's like okay. So like see emotions that. So when you things like this, you'll be like, oh okay, let's just keep going.
Yeah. So you work with waste.
Yeah.
Things that people say, oh, this is no longer good, this is condemned, let's just throw it away. And I know that when I met you, you said something very profound. We're talking, and Uche just said, waste is a design flaw. And I was like, interesting. I agree, because I believe that people who produce things should be responsible for the entire life cycle of their product.
Sure.
So it's not just, oh, I've made a bottle, that's the end. So what happens when people drink from the bottle?
Yeah.
What's the next thing?
Exactly.
So do you think, is it possible to create without producing waste? Is waste really a design flaw?
Yeah, I think is waste. Okay, now we need to like term, okay, what is waste? For people like us that are in this industry, in this like the eco-conscious people, what people see as waste, we don't really see it as waste. It's because it has been termed waste.
Yeah.
I mean, why would a PET bottle be waste when you can like recycle it? Like, I mean, it's not supposed to be called waste. It's supposed to be called bottle plastic. It's supposed to be called plastic. So the next thing, the normal thing, it should be okay. You're recycling it, putting it back to the system.
Yes.
So like when I'm very sure when they designed plastic, they didn't they didn't think about the maybe okay, what are we going after they use this? What are they going to do it?
with
It was now when they saw the impact that this
On the
plastic it caused.
environment.
People started thinking about okay, how are we going to solve this waste issue? How are we going to solve this plastic issue? If they were thinking about what this thing is going to cost at the onset before they invented, I don't think we'll be having all of this
issues that
issue.
we're having now.
So like yes, as a designer, you have to like, okay, after I make this thing, what happens to it? I mean, if you really care about the environment, if you care about the people that you are doing this for, you should. I think it's part of what should be at every. There should be a stage of where you think about okay, what's the end life of this product that I'm making.
That's actually true. So it is a design flow.
Yeah.
So it is a design flow. I feel like more people now are beginning to. I feel like capitalism is forcing us to rethink the things that we think we know. So we are forced to address.
Very true.
Yes, do we really need this thing? Should this thing really be thrown away? So our parents, maybe they didn't have a lot, but they would buy ice cream and reuse the container to store something else, because there was a sense of, I can't go and buy another container. Let me save money. So I feel like now, as people think about saving money, they're now thinking of creative things to do. So I heard that most offices now donate their papers for people to shred. People in packaging now use those papers from offices. So instead of going to buy shredded paper, you just use papers from people's offices.
Exactly.
Yes. So there's this girl on Instagram. She puts like all this scrap fabric from tailors. She adds it to earrings. So I think I don't know, our brand is Uptotes.
Uptotes.
Yes, you know
Uptotes.
Yeah. Yes. So she take all this scrap fabric from tailors and they use it maybe in throw pillows, all those things. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So people are now trying to save money. So they are now.
That's a good point.
So the fact that everything is now expensive is forcing us to. Do I need this thing? Do I really need to have this stuff? And I think that is very important. So Ugo, your work but your work, there's something about your work that is very particular, and you had to go back to the roots to actually set the business up. You have to be like, okay, let me go and watch these women, let me go and hear their stories. Would you say it's about reconnecting us back to our roots? Like when people buy your pieces, when people buy pottery, when people buy this local fabric, is that part of your motivation? Like, I want to connect people back to their roots. I want them to reconnect back to nature and back to things that so that's the question.
So I would say with Ulaku Finds, I always say that we have 3 priorities, things that we prioritize. The first is community, second is craft, and the third is compassion. So whenever you make a purchase or you come across any of our products, I want you to buy into an experience and a story. And that's why with everything that I do with the brand, even though I do almost pretty much everything, I prioritize a lot of storytelling. Even with the products, before we design the collection, all of that, I try to think of what am I trying to do with this collection? What story does it tell? What colors are we going to use that would, connect to the story or whatever I'm trying to sell with these products? So you're not just buying a product, you're buying an experience. I would say everything about Ulaku Finds is pretty much an experience. From the name, so the full name is Ulaku, which is Igbo language. In Igbo language means wealthy home. So from the name alone, it's like you're filling your home with richness. If you understand the quality of what you're getting from it, you're not just getting a product that has been made. You're getting a product that has been made by people, artisans who have learned these skills from probably their parents and who are using the wages that they earn for making this product to feed their families. You're sustaining generations, you're sustaining skills, you're sustaining craft, you're tapping into a story that will last forever. And that's why I said our products are for people, for your home and your keep. So it's something I see as a cultural preservation that would last over the years, and you can give to people as a way of saying, this is a part of me or this is a part of my community and I'm gifting it to you. So I would say 100%, you with everything that you just an encounter to Ulaku Finds is a story. From even our branding elements, because our branding colors as well are very like earthy tone. So we have like forest green, cinnamon brown, like mint green. Everything was intentional. Every single thing. So I would say that's something I prioritize. I like to connect to stories. I like to understand the behind the scenes, and I'm trying to put that. I'm trying to influence Olaco finds in that way. So 100%.
Yeah.
Olaco finds about an experience and not just the product.
Quickly link this to your thoughts on wabi sabi. Is that the pronunciation?
Yes. To be honest, I think so. I just say
So I was reading your story or your blog on why you started, how you started, and I just saw wabi sabi. I said, Japanese, let's go.
Yeah. So I would say, in the world, you cannot talk about ceramics without giving, without referencing the Japanese, because they are literally the pioneers of ceramics. Every modern technique, old age techniques, they have been the ones. It's a craft that is very peculiar to the Japanese. So as I said, before I said Olaco finds, and whilst I said it, I did a lot of research. I really want to understand how these things work and where it's connected. So I connected a lot to Japanese culture, and it's talked about the Japanese, ceramic culture and aesthetic, talked about, how to prioritize the beauty and simplicity. So I said, I found out about Wabi Sabi. I got a book. I'll recommend it to everyone. The name is Wabi Sabi by Beth Kempton. Kempton, Kempton. Amazing book, by the way. So it just taught me about how to see beauty in simplicity, impermanence, imperfection. It just reminds us to live slow living, adopting slow living, striving for excellence and not perfection. So that has been something that has helped me, not just as an individual, but as a business owner, because you're going to encounter a lot of problems, issues will come up. You're trying to make a product. It did not come out exactly as imagined. You have to crack your head. Maybe there's a little crack somewhere. And when I started reading about this, I discovered that those little cracks, those little imperfections, chaos makes the muse. There's beauty in that. So I think that with everything I do in Olaco Finds, I like to tell people that it's not about, this one, everything is perfect. At the end of the day, this is something that is made by hand, made with compassion. You see, they just live an easy life by seeing the beauty in everything, and it's a healthier mindset to have. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, talking about beauty in imperfection. Uche, some of your patterns, when I see the design, I'm like, Uche, where did this one come from? What have you done? So what informs most of your designs, and why are you particularly working with denim? Because I know you're very, very intentional. And I've seen that most of your work is denim, khaki, corduroy. What informed the decision to go with those? You could be upcycling with silk. You could be upcycling with, what was it about denim that drew you in? And what informs your design choices?
That's a deep one. Okay. I think, I'll start with white denim. I think white denim, because that is what we started with. I don't know, my approach to design is the one you're doing, do it well before you move to the next one. I don't do everything. Okay, if you're doing this, do it well. When okay, I got this, move to the next one. While you're still doing that one, okay, you at least you have this control to an extent. So that's why we started with denim. The reason why we started with denim, because of the kind of clothes we want to make. We want to make clothes that you can wear for years.
Forever.
Yeah, clothes that you can wear forever. We don't want to make clothes that you just wear for maybe 2-3 years and it's already fading. And we know denim, you can wear denim for years. Even the fader, the better.
Yeah, that's true.
You get, so that's why they did. So we're also looking at other. Even we've worked with we infuse other fabrics into our design process.
Yeah.
And mine is since we are upcycling, since we are rescuing clothes, we tend to look at how to make this thing look good, make it look cool. Because before I started, when I researched for people doing upcycling, I saw that majority of what I was seeing, you see people doing putting this thing together. It's not really put together. They just most of the designs are more eco-friendly focused. like they just do the design because it's eco-friendly. If they want to tell you, just okay, this clothes is
It's
eco-friendly.
eco-friendly. Wear it, even though it's ugly. Just wear it
even
like
though
that.
it's
Thank
ugly,
you.
just even
They are
though
doing
it's
something
ugly,
for the
just
client.
wear
I
it.
don't like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
why it's ugly now? Like, I don't get it.
Yes, now it's eco-friendly.
Please,
so
I
you not
don't
be grumbling wearing the clothes and
By
not,
force.
not everybody gets it. And you might go outside and people will be like, oh, this madman.
I'll take.
So you get so we wanted to like make it look cool. We wanted to appeal to so many. Wanted to appeal to other people, even if you are not eco-friendly, even if you are not eco-cautious. When you see it, it's something you would like. So that like trying to meet satisfy as much people. We know that if we can satisfy more people, that is the more people we satisfy, the more impact we are creating, the more clothes we are rescuing. So that's the way we approach it. We don't try to join clothes because of joining sake. We take our time to see how does this want to make and most of it comes from my background. I studied engineering. So most of all these things this with a lot of like trying to say
You
how
have a
does this go
blueprint in your mind. Now you're working with.
Thank you for that. That ugly. Sorry,
so that's it. That's why we're doing it.
So you're in a battle with fast fashion. That's the truth. And
exactly.
I want you to just for the record, like tell us how bad fast fashion is, and do you feel like you're winning? Like as your one man army, do you ever sit down and be like, what's even the point, Seth? Why did I quit my job? Yes.
I mean, those moments would definitely come. Those moments, I have moments like that. Like I said earlier, the impacts that I'm creating now are like what when those moments come. I mean, we are humans. We are human. There's no way we would not feel that way. I mean, my job, I won't say. I mean, I was getting good money from the job I was doing, but it was stressful. But I mean, I can still overlook the stress because of the money. But then at that point in my life, maybe I wasn't looking for money. Money wasn't my first what I wanted at that time. So I wanted to I wanted to create something. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to when they call my name, it should be associated with something, something that's making an impact. I think that was why I shifted to that this thing. So it's not, and so it's the same thing with every even before I quit my job, I thought about it. I was consulting people. Literally, I was consulting people this is what I want to do. Do you think it makes sense? And even though I knew what I wanted to do, what I wanted to do was on my mind already, but I still wanted to validate, make sure that I was really making the right decision. So I already thought to myself then that this is going to be hard. Times like this are going to come. Times like this are going to come. So it's just the reason why you are doing this. And as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you have to, I don't know how they call it. Is it agile? I think it's agile they call it. You need to be agile in terms of when stuff come at you, what you don't expect, try and see how you can navigate it. Because man, so many things are going to be thrown at you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. So if you feel like I'm going to business because I want to be happy, I want to make money, I want to live that flashy life. I mean, the flashy life will come, but you have to realize that the first stage is going to be rough. I mean, it might sound cliche because I mean every motivational event you go, you hear things like that. It might sound cliche, but it's the truth. It's a cliche for a reason because this is what is constant. So those are what keeps me going, my grind. And I mean, and also gratitude. Because in the midst of all of what is happening, there's so many bad things happening. But in the midst of all of this, there are little things that you can hold on to and might use this one guide. Might use this one. Let me use this one to hold myself. Yeah. So I think that's how I've been navigating it, trying to.
Do you have an exact idea of the number of jeans you have saved from dump sites? How many denim fabrics do you think you have saved from dump site? So far, do you have an idea?
I don't have an idea, but I think I have an idea in terms of weight because we have a weighing scale in my studio. So anytime we go to the market, we bring scrap, we scale it. But I think it should be over 500 kilograms.
Wow.
Yeah, it should be over 500 kilograms that we've rescued, and we're trying to do more. trying to do more. Also, we're trying to like diversify, not just making clothes. So I think it's not every pieces of fabric you use when you're
Yes.
upcycling. There are some that you can't even join together. So all those ones we tend to like we shred it, use it to do throw pillows. So even there's one we did I did teddy bear for someone.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so we just
Teddy
use those
bears.
mix it with foam. If it's just
Yes.
fabric, it will be heavy and it won't give that feel. So we mix it with fiber foam to like give it that puffy feel. So we're just trying to like see how we can
Use everything.
yeah, how we can preserve them. So we don't have like a particular method of design or maybe upcycling. What we do is, okay, this is the fabric. How do we do this? How do we use? What method are we going to use for this one? What's the best method to go about it?
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah. Speaking about difficulty, Ugo, you are the CEO, founder, marketing director, sales rep, customer care, compliance officer. You are a one. He even has team. He has a team. He has studio. He has everything. You are just you and the artisans. So how do you navigate all that? How tell me how crazy is it to be 10% in one?
Oh, honestly, I mean, it's very tough. And I'm fully aware. I think that with business, and because I had like a little idea before I got it, I knew that I was going to encounter such difficulty and disappointments, and I just had to learn to like thrive in the midst of all of these things. Because sometimes, like literally, I'm losing my mind, like because I think that when you're running a business, I would keep saying that the most difficult part of any business are the people. Like managing people. I mean, we hear that a lot, but you don't understand how difficult it is until you're actually in them. And also the kind of industry that I'm in, it's craft, it's skill. So also there are also things that could come up that are unforeseen.
Sure.
It could break apart. Something could potentially happen. So, but apart from that, people is really difficult. But I think that honestly, I would say I was ready. I mean, maybe I was not fully ready I did not understand the extent to which it was going to like exhaust me.
Yeah.
But because I enjoy it. So it's like I see the potential, I see all of it. And I've also, over time, I've learned to train my mind or myself to be less, to be more proactive and be less, what's it called? What's the opposite of optimism? Pessimistic. Do you understand? So I'm kind of like I want to be calm in the midst of chaos. So I might be late for some event I'm going for. I have to tell myself that, listen, what's the most that could happen? Get there late, and then like it's
Just
not the
calm
end of the
down.
world. There's no point panicking. So I think all of this has also helped to like teach me like patience, teach me understanding. Because so for instance, like in December, like I had like a huge disappointment, and I had like a pop-up as well that didn't do as well as I envisioned.
Expected.
That morning, the vehicle that was supposed to transport us to the pop-up came late.
Wow.
We were spent like an hour in traffic on our way to the pop-up. Like it
That's
was
crazy.
very chaotic. And I would also add, I'm really grateful to have like a very great like support system in family and friends who have held me down. Because in those times, I'm like, my friends were there with me. We all laughed. We were in traffic, sweating in the bus, and we're like, we're getting there. When I'm stressed, like everyone sees the work that I put in. So whenever they can help out, they help out. They're always rooting for me. They're always, referring me to people and clients. So I don't take anything for granted. What I try to do is just be proactive so I can mitigate the issues I will face in the future. And over time, with where I am now, I'm trying to build a structure and a system where obviously the business can work in my absence. So that will require hiring a lot more people, also having people that I can trust and people that I can depend on. So it takes time. I know that it's going to happen. Disappointments are part of the process, but it's fine. We'll get there.
I admire you guys because I can never run a business. This is me on the record. You see me doing a business now. I was kidnapped or forced into doing it. I just can't see myself starting anything. Even calling dispatch riders, I'm tired. Like
Exhausting.
so I can't imagine trying to be at the back of all of that and doing all those things. So Uche, what is the most challenging thing about your business? What is your biggest challenge? If somebody asks what's your biggest challenge, what's that one problem that will solve for you today and you're just going to be happy?
Okay, I think one of the biggest challenges, one that is peculiar to almost every business, which is managing people. And aside managing people, I think that one is constant. Then I think the other one is visibility marketing. Yeah, visibility and marketing is quite expensive if you really want to do it. If you don't want to do it organically, and
Yes.
the kind of business that I do, the kind of business that we do is quite production heavy. Like we spend a lot on production. It's not like on the
Yes.
regular fashion. So there's a lot of processes. So all those processes costing money. So now you now growing organically. Now comparing like what you're spending, what you're spending to produce all of this. Now what you're getting. So you need to like do more marketing. Though there are demands for upcycle product, there are demand for eco-friendly
The
products.
products,
Yeah,
yes.
but then you need to like, how do you reach these people? How do you
Yeah,
reach
how do
these
you reach your
people? And
target
for
audience?
us, we discovered that a lot of people that really appreciate what we do. They are not really in Nigeria. They're like outside the
Oh,
country. Though there are
interesting.
people here, but like people that really value and will pay what you're doing. Like, to be honest, most of what we sell in Nigeria, most of our people here in Nigeria they are subsidized just to meet the demand. I mean, I don't want to be delusional, not being aware of where I am, being aware of the people that are buying my product. I know that my products are premium, they are of high quality,
Yeah.
they appeal to the higher class. But still, I'm not delusional of that fact that okay, this is where I am, like where I'm starting from. Because when we started this, like it was like friends, family supporting and all of that. And you need to like consider people. But though we've grown past that stage now and all of that. But still, now, aside from where you are now, the economy of the country where we are, that one is really, really like eating deep. So, okay, let's say on an average now, we spend about up to like let's say you spend about 20, let's say 15 to 20,000 on production. Then you have to pay salary. So how much do you want to price your clothes? How much do you want to sell that clothes now to people in Nigeria? Yeah. So, but we're trying to sell to people outside the country. We have a store now in Canada where we like stock our product. So we've seen, even from the sales we've gotten there, we've seen the difference. So we are not trying to what we're trying to do, but still we cannot because of that try to ignore our people here. So what we're trying to do is trying to focus on the international market. So what we are selling, we try and use that one to like subsidize. So the price that we can sell here, try and like subsidize that effect the running of the business is having on our budget and all of that. So I think marketing visibility is the major challenge for us.
Yeah. So Ugo, I feel like do you also have that visibility issue? Because I feel like you were a mini influencer before you started. You were popular, everybody knew go. So did you struggle, or are you struggling with visibility?
I mean, yes, but I don't think visibility is my main problem, to be quite
Okay.
honest. I think that, so what I would say my major issue when I said I was identifying my market fit, I did not properly have an understanding of that. To be quite honest, when I started the business, I wasn't clear of who my target audience was exactly. I wasn't very sure. So I was like, you know what, just do a start, because if you overthink it, you're going to not do
you're
this
gonna
thing.
start.
So I started, I'm like, you know what, anybody that I see, I'm going to just watch and see the sort of people that are attracted to my products
Yeah.
and patronize my brand or purchase things from us. Then using that, I'm going to segment them, middle class. I don't know how to explain it, but like it's sort of people that come to you, then I try to segment them, put them into categories. Then it sort of helps me figure out the sort of people that like my product. So if I have, let's say, a bunch of people who I estimate to be around 30 to 40 years of age patronizing me, then I can say, you know what, middle income earners within this age who enjoy XYZ, who are in XYZ careers, patronize my brand, and just give me a better understanding of how to sell, especially since I mostly sell online. So I would say identifying my market fit was a big issue at first, because I do not really have direct competitors. I mean, I have competitors, but not
Yes.
in the sort of space that I'm in. So I do not really have that to look up to and to sort of have an understanding of what their target audience was like. I would say the second one was managing people. So
Yeah.
at then I was sort of I was outsourcing my production. So I do not have like an in-house studio or production studio because that's pretty expensive. And if I derailed, if I wanted to get that at first, I wouldn't have started the business. So I had to like work with what I had. So that really put like a strain on my business. So I would have like a lot of supply and people reaching out, a lot of demand, but I could not meet the supply because I did not have the resources. And the third, which I think is very peculiar to every business owner, financial constraints. Listen, at every point we need money. Like we need money to scale at some point. So currently I'm building like a studio. I'll say like a factory, workshop, whatever. So where I'm going to have, our equipment, we're going to have an in-house production now. So it sort of helps me manage my production, just have it's easier, it's better. I meet up with my demand and all of that and timelines. So now that we're moving forward, listen, I had no idea. It's more expensive than I had thought. And, as a business owner, you're always looking out for more opportunities, applying and back and forth. So I would say these are the three major challenges: identifying my market fit, managing people, finding right skilled people who are well behaved, because anything about artisans not being okay.
People.
Yeah, sorry, like no shame, but like some of them are actually not okay. But I think I've been lucky to find very honest people. Some of them have been really honest and really, amazing to work with. And the third, again, financial constraints. And, as the economy is sort of like dwindling, things are getting more expensive. You need to keep operations running. You need to set things in motion. So I would say for me, those are my three major challenges.
So if someone wanted to start like an eco-friendly business now and they came to you for advice, what would you tell them? Like a young person is like, okay, I want to start something as part of my own effort to maybe save the environment. What would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Honestly, I mean, just do it. But besides doing, for me, because just as Uche said, it's not the most, let me not lie. Some people, not everybody is buying your stuff because it's they are eco-conscious or eco-friendly, sustainability. So in as much as, as a business and as a brand, those are the things that we prioritize with our production. When you're selling your marketing is a bit more different, especially if you're still appealing to the Nigerian African audience. So it has to be good enough. It has to be competitive. It has to be aesthetic. It has to be appealing to them. So you're also marketing all of that stuff to them. But I mean, I guess a few people who are still interested. Like, oh, how is this sustainable? And I'm like, oh, you use extracted clay, it's extracted from the earth. Everything that we do is locally produced. Hand-woven fabrics is used, cotton, linen, all of that. So I have to explain it to them. But yeah, so I would say if you're going to do that, you have to have like a strong passion for like the process, like that circularity process. You have to really and stick to it because it's hard. Like for instance, my packaging, I have to use like all cartons, brown paper, like things that are easily biodegradable. It's a lot more expensive, but I've stuck to it. I have literally not, I have not bent the rules because it got more expensive. I have stuck to everything that I've said I would do. So I would say you have to really have a passion for it. You have to also have a better understanding of it, and you have to speak to people who sort of have been in that space a bit more, because it's easy to say it, and because now it's getting trendy. Sustainability is getting trendy. People are just tagging businesses, sustainability, this one. I mean, that's
whether
great.
it's sustainable
like,
or not,
everybody just tagging because
eco-friendly,
it's great.
It
makes green. Everybody's just like, but I mean, that's great if you put it on paper, but is it really? And can you prove it? So I mean, at this time we have bigger companies, ESGs, that have to keep up with that. But even as a small business, you have to be honest. That's why I said my business is an honest brand. We are honest about our processes, honest about our deliverables, and if you want to do it, but be honest. Don't lie to yourself. It's not sustainable.
To be honest,
just do your business, make your profit, do what you have to do.
If you lie, that's when it gets frustrating, because I mean, if you're lying to other people, you can't
your
lie to
reputation
yourself.
is also at stake.
You can't lie to yourself.
Do it. I'm rooting for you regardless. All the best. Yeah.
So you said a lot about you talked about using cartons and using materials that are eco-friendly, biodegradable and everything. It made me think about profit. Because I feel like most of the environmental disasters that we have today was engineered by people who wanted to make profit at all costs. Like, so
Cutting
let's
corners,
use nylon, it's cheaper. Let's use this, it's cheaper. Let's do this. And that is a problem. So I feel like if you're thinking only about profits, you will not be true to maybe your environmental values or your beliefs or things like that. So a lot of the problem we have today was fed by profits. People just wanting to make money, cutting corners, underpaying people. You just use people, you pay them little money
Sure.
so you can hold a lot of the
Yeah.
money to yourself. And I used to tell people that if you take a billionaire and you look at all the people that are working under him, if he pays everybody what they're supposed to be paid, you will have less billions. So you have more money because you're taking money from other people. So it's basically like you just want to pack as much profit as possible. So talking about profit, how profitable would you say your business is, Uche? And like so far, how have you been able to sustain yourself as a man in Nigeria, as an Igbo man in Nigeria? How profitable has it been? And what would you tell somebody who is looking to start a profitable business?
Okay, I think I'll start with how profitable has it been. I would say let me put on a scale of 1 to 10. I would say I'll put it on a 6. On a 6, yeah, like in terms of profitability. And even at that doesn't mean we are not making loss. But when you compare like what how will I put it? Okay, when you subtract some aspect of the business, when you focus on production, the cost of production, and also putting the long term like a long term plan.
Yeah.
Let's say business is like you might be doing business for like 2 years and still be at loss.
Yes.
But your business is raking in. There's still
Revenue.
revenue coming in. So I think that's how it is being for us. Like revenue is still coming in, but like on the long run, we are still negative.
Denying yourself things so that the business can survive. Is that what you say? Are you denying yourself anything? Like
a lot.
Okay.
I'm denying myself a lot. Like aside from Isaac, I am a graphic designer. I do like a lot of freelance and
So you're trying to supplement your income. You're trying to supplement your income with other.
Yeah, so some of the money I make on the side, I still put it in the business. So the business is like my baby. So that's like, that's my babe. So that's like, I spend. So when I read the other people that are asking me for money, but I don't give money, no vex. So and my baby, they chop the money. So that's how it had like that's how I try to stay afloat, because if I'm looking at what the business is bringing right now,
Yes,
it's not, I wouldn't want to continue. But I'm looking at the long-term goal. I'm saying these are when I started the business, there are some things that I've learned now, that I know that I can change it. Let me change, maybe this will work, this will try like different methods to make it more profitable. And it's growing. It's growing. There's so much you can do to a plant to make it grow. So like I think the best thing you can do for a plant is just to allow it grow. Like give it water, give it good environment, and just watch it. Make sure the environment you are like taking care of it, and just watch it grow. I think that's how I've been approaching Isaac. I don't like get so worked up in the short-term problems that we're having. I just tend to look at the bigger picture. So for someone coming into this kind of business, I think is first of all, know what you're getting yourself into. You need to know what you're getting yourself into. Get into the community. Get the community, and aside, just know what you're getting yourself into. Like me, before I started, I knew that production, like for the kind of business, production is very important. If you don't get the hang of production, I think the whole thing would die. How I got to know that is the first clothes we ever produced, I outsourced it. Imagine sewing one collection for a year and a half. So you might imagine that like I was going for over a year. I was producing one collection, and I just thought, after this one, that I'll make sure get it. So what I did, let me just get the space. Even the space that I got, it was just one machine. I was using one machine for like how many years? For like over a year before I got the second one. And so just try and like know what you're getting yourself into, so you don't at least for the starting, because when you rush into it, if you're not prepared for what is coming, it might derail you. Even if that business is profitable, even if it's profitable, like for the first instance might be so shaky, you might not be able to like withstand all those hits and no. So I think for anybody getting into the business, know what you're getting yourself into. Look for a community, so you can like share, meet people of like mind. get someone you can ask about what you're getting into. So these are like some of the mistakes I made.
Okay.
These are some of the mistakes I made. I didn't. I started sewing when I got my first machine. So like if I'm to do that again, I think I would like take my time to like know all of these things. So that saved me so much stress. But even at that, the having that flexible mindset, I think it will help you, because even if you say you want to be prepared, you want to know all what you want, like you want to know all about that business, it's not possible. Because challenges, I don't think there's a manual for facing challenges. There's no manual for it. So I think the general manual is just to like be calm. It's not the end of the world. Like, don't worry, nobody will beat you. Like, even if nobody's going to beat you. Like, nobody would shout at you. I mean, we just have all this we just try to like see what other people are thinking about business.
Yeah.
And I mean, even you look at yourself, how are you thinking about that? Are you even thinking about that business? So how many people is thinking about your business that way you're thinking about? So you just mainly know what you want to do. Have that passion. Passion is very important, like you said. Passion is very important. Is the key to all of this. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about passion, I want to hear your environmental views. Like, how do you see the environment? What do you think about the environment? Because the aim of this conversation is to get young people to pay attention to the environment. Like, guys, there's problem. Wahala is on ground. There are issues. There's air pollution. There's water pollution, land pollution, lots of issues, and so many things are happening. So what are your views? How does this feed into your concern for the environment? What you currently do, how does it feed into that?
So I think for me, it's more like a lifestyle. Being eco-friendly, being eco-cautious, it's not just a one-time thing. It's a lifestyle. It's something that it's cut across different facets of our lives. So it's not just a one direction thing. So the way you how you approach every aspect of your life, you have to think about the environmental impact. And the benefit of it all, it's I don't think the benefit is there for everyone to see, like what waste is doing. Like what all of they just throwing. You see some people you're just walking on your you're probably in a bus on the road, and you just see somebody who just from under bus throw something on the road. That thing is very annoying. I'll be like, so little things like that. It doesn't, being eco-friendly, being eco-cautious is not a big deal. Like, it's not one gigantic step. It's just little step, little things you do every day.
Choices.
Lifestyle choices, little lifestyle choices. Just taking our time to do things, taking our time. So that patience to like,
to think
I think that's like the best way you can do it. You cannot just how will I put it? You don't have to start upcycling codes to like to be helpful.
You know that
like the way you dispose your trash at home. The way you like, okay, I have a place where I keep my bottle, I have a place where I keep my plastic. Like little things like that, it goes a really long way. It goes a really long way.
What about you, Ugo?
So I think that, it's really easy for most of us to like say eco-conscious and eco-friendly, but to be honest, the layman doesn't really understand that concept. But I would say, I just like to break it down. It's the little things, just as I said, don't dispose, don't litter as much as possible. So for instance, one thing I try to do, declutter your wardrobe. You don't need 10 of the same outfits. So I try to declutter at least every 6 months. And as you're decluttering, instead of throwing it away, give it out to charity. It's like a better way. It's just a lot more effective. Especially now we're entering an era of consumerism with like skincare, fashion. It's just like so much going on.
You don't need all that.
Maybe the economy might help. And it's not a good thing the economy is getting bad, but it's like reduce. You don't need 150 serums on your skin. Like, it's the little things that you can cut down on. Use one thing that works. If it works, stick with it. We don't need, there are other ways that you can implement it in your lifestyle that that you might not even notice, but in the long term you start to realize how it simplifies your life. Just live a simpler life. Don't get things that you do not necessarily need.
Yes.
If you buy something from the supermarket and they give you a plastic bag, use that as your trash bin, as opposed to buy. Like, there's so much that we consume and we buy and we purchase recently that is just it's so unnecessary. So again, like recently I got like this tree branch and I'm using it as like a lamp holder. And it's like the most exciting thing that I've done recently. So just little things like that can just help. So I think try to adopt it in your lifestyle by reducing, like consuming less. I will put it that way. So that's it. That's an easier way to adopt that into your lifestyle. Let's not seem like a buzzword. Just make it a lifestyle.
Yeah,
and
that's
it'll be
interesting
fine.
because I stopped going to the market with. Don't give me plastic bag in the market. I have a tote bag. I have 2 tote bags.
Yeah.
So anytime I buy things, don't put inside now. Just give it to me like that. And
I went to Benin the other time. Their shopping mall.
Yes.
I wanted, like, after shopping, they said, "You want to buy a bag or you brought your bag?"
You are forced to
Yeah.
use it again and again.
And
And
it's
again.
expensive.
Yes. So
Very
that
expensive.
is a
So
method.
you have to bring your bag.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you don't want to start any business, you can also contribute. You can you don't want to start any business.
Yeah,
And you want to
exactly.
be like I started writing stories and all my stories now have an environmental angle. There must be an environmental angle to like all my stories. I made sure like yes, we must highlight one problem that people would read and be like, oh, because stories get to people. So you may not be able to convince them with conversation, but through stories. I know people that are making music, making poetry, film, they're trying to put that thing there. So if you're watching a movie and you saw someone writing go green, it's not part of the film, but that sends a message you get. So we can think about it as young persons. What can I do? How can I make an impact? How can I like take this thing I'm really concerned about? How can I make it a part of my life, a part of my work? Waste sorting, even in church, you could bring it up. Okay, let's have a bin for paper, a separate bin for nylon, a separate bin for glass. Things like that just really goes a long way. So we've come to the end of our conversation today.
Please, one last thing. Plant trees in your homes.
amazing.
Thank you very much.
No, I was going to ask for your last words. What you want to say? She has already said her last words.
Plant trees. Thank you.
Yeah, and tell us your last word, Uche. What would you? The last thing you want to say?
Consume less.
So you stole our word. She was the one that said consume less. So lastly, how can anybody patronize you? Where can you be found if people want to be a part of what you're doing?
Okay, we have a website where we sell most of our stuff. You can reach us on social media. Anywhere you see Azak, just
Spell the Azak.
Azach. Azak. So on Instagram, Azak NG. Azachng.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And the website Azak.ng. Azak.ng.
NG. Okay. Yeah. What about you?
Okay, find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Olaku Finds. ULAKUFINDS Finds. Olaku Finds. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on our show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
This was
It was
fun.
amazing.
Yeah.